Welcome to the Breakfast Show on Faith FM with Skafy and Lindsay. This is the best place to start your day with positive and uplifting thoughts.
You're listening all across Australia on 87.6, 87.8 or 88, depending on where you are, or you can listen to us through our Faith FM app wherever you are in the world.
And today, if you are listening live, is Tuesday, the 3rd day of March 2026. I'm in the studio today with Lindsay and producer Tish today. Good morning to you, Tish.
Hi, good to see you.
Good to see you too. Let's start with our exchange of gratitudes as we do. And speaking of which, radio friend, share with us, what are you grateful for today? 0491 064 669 is our text line. You can text it here and we can read it on air. I'm actually grateful because today's my birthday.
It is too.
It is my birthday. Thank you very much.
To you.
Thank you so much, friends, for making me embarrassed in front of all of my radio friends. And yeah, look, I'm just also very grateful for the day of my birth is March 3rd.
I'm grateful.
3 of the 3rd.
Okay.
Which means that every time I have ever to feel either an US-based form or an Australian-based form, I don't really have to think, is it month first, day first? I just like 333. It's always works out. Yeah. But look, I'm very grateful to God. I'm grateful to be alive. I'm grateful for my parents. I'm grateful that I was born into this world. There is a story of a guy that wanted to sue his parents because he was born and he didn't choose to be born. I'm not that guy. I'm actually very grateful for my life,
What a guy.
for all the gifts that God has given me. And yeah, I'm grateful to be here as well, talking about Jesus today on the day of my birthday. What better use could I have of my time? So,
radio friends, would you message in on the chat line on 0491 064 669 and say happy birthday to Skafy?
Thank you very much.
That's 0491 064 669. Okay, I'm grateful today. This is going to sound so boring compared to yours, but I'm grateful for the rain. It's gently raining at the moment where we are, and you know what? As an Australian, I've noticed that my fellow Australians, we always complain if it's sunny and there's no rain, or we complain if there is rain because it's not sunny anymore. Everyone's always complaining that it's not the opposite thing. But I love the rain and I love the sunshine. So long as the rain doesn't stay too long, I'm very happy.
That's right. Look, everybody, if you want to start appreciating the rain, just plant a garden.
Yes.
Because every time that if you have a garden and you have vegetables or anything growing and then there's rain, there's something about the rain that just like makes the garden and just spring up with life.
Yeah.
So
I've got little flowers in my front garden
changing the
patch.
perspective.
Yeah.
What about you, producer Tish? What are you grateful for today?
This morning, I am actually grateful for my beautiful spiritual friends
Yeah.
because they've been so helpful for me lately.
So your spiritual friends, are they like ghosts that float around like
No, they're
Casper
real
the
people,
friendly?
actually.
Your Christian friends?
They're just Christian friends, like
Okay.
people that appreciate God, and we get to appreciate God together, and that's so special.
It is very special. You know what? My best friends are also, they share a very similar faith than I am, and it's just very, very nice. Some people, I like to say, God chooses for you, like your siblings. You don't really get a choice to see who your siblings are going to be, not even your parents. But some people, they become brothers and sisters because, you have such an affinity with them and you choose them. And I think that when you can be friends with your friends also on a very deep spiritual level, that's really...
It makes the friendship richer.
so much
Yeah, I
richer.
agree.
So much richer. Well, thank you very much, Tish, for sharing that. I am grateful for your spiritual friends, and I'm also grateful for the rain, Lindsay. So let us know, radio friend, what are you grateful for? 0491 064 669. Share with us. Increase our joy, complete our joy, and we will complete yours.
You're listening to the Breakfast Show podcast on Faith FM. Positively different.
Now it is time for a quiz question. Please, producer Tish.
It is. Are you ready? There's
I'm
another fun one this morning.
Ready?
Yes,
I'm so
so ready.
excited.
Okay, get ready. How many crops of fruit does the tree of life bear? Correct. We have one correct answer, two correct answers in the studio. How many crops of fruit does the tree of life bear? If you're looking for where that might be, try having a look at Revelation 22, verse 2. And let us know on 0491 064 669. How many crops of fruit does the tree of life bear?
Yeah, that was a fun one.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Get ready.
Well, let's definitely talk about that one when we
get the
when you
answer
get the
later.
answer to that one.
Yeah.
I want to see what your thoughts are on this one. And in today's show, we are going to be at our 7 o'clock segment. We're going to be talking about just a very recent news that popped up, a new report, Lindsay.
Mm-hmm.
Would you believe me if I said that there is one Christian-based university in the United States that supports Planned Parenthood and basically encourages students to seek abortions if they are distressed? But what if I told you that? Would you be shocked?
Look, I think there's a great variety of views amongst Christians in different parts of the world, and so I am not too shocked. I'm not too shocked.
All right, but it's not one; it's one in every 7.
One in every 7.
Yeah, so we're going to be looking into that and seeing some of the things there. But before we get there, we are going to open up our Bible in the book of Genesis and continue our Bible study through the life of Joseph. Yesterday, we saw something quite amazing, to be honest.
We did.
How Jacob used
he subverted expectations.
a loophole in the law to make sure that Joseph would get the double portion. There's 2 double portions in his inheritance by adopting Joseph's kids as his own. This is why we don't have the tribe of Joseph, but we have the tribe of Manasseh and Ephraim.
Yeah.
So we're going to be looking at the aftermath of that decision now, because there's going to be some interesting things happening today.
So yesterday I was studying for uni. And I'm reading through the first 5 books of the Bible for uni. So this will be really interesting going forward in the next couple of months. And so something I came across in my reading yesterday was this idea of adopting. Because first of all, Rachel, she gave her servant to Jacob to have children on her behalf, just like Sarah gave Hagar to Abraham.
Yes.
And they used the language of bearing these children upon their knees, okay, which is just like a euphemism for adoption of the slave's child, right?
Yeah.
And then we also see this language used by Joseph, where his children his grandchildren were born upon his knees. So I'm wondering if there's a link between Joseph's 2 boys being adopted by Jacob and him now adopting his grandsons as well.
Oh, very interesting.
There's a link there that I noticed after our conversation yesterday.
Okay, so, very interesting.
Yeah.
Never noticed
Keep
that.
it in the family. Keep going.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to verse 6 now. We're reading in Genesis chapter 48, verse 6.
Okay. Verse 6 says, "Your offspring, whom you beget after them, shall be yours. They will be called by the name of their brothers in their inheritance. But as for me, when I came from Paddan, Rachel died beside me in the land of Canaan on the way, when there was but a little distance to go to Ephrath. And I buried her there on the way to Ephrath, that is, Bethlehem. Then Israel saw Joseph's sons and said, 'Who are these?' Joseph said to his father, 'They are my sons, whom God has given me in this place.' And he said, 'Please bring them to me, and I will bless them.' Now the eyes of Israel were dim with age."
Okay, just pause here for a second here. Don't you find something strange here?
What are you finding strange?
So
The questions?
Yeah, so Jacob was saying, "Hey, Joseph, give me your sons. I'm going to adopt them. And by adopting them, I'm going to give a double portion of my inheritance. They're going to be just like my children. The next children that you have, they will be yours, but these 2, they're going to be mine.
Yeah.
I'm going to be adopting them." And then when Joseph finally brought the 2 boys, his 2 sons before Jacob, he says, "Hey, who are these?"
I wonder if this was like the start of a formal conversation.
Okay.
Yeah. What do you think?
No, I actually, I was going to ask you, do you think that it was like a dementia situation here from Jacob?
I think this was the beginning of a formal conversation.
Yeah, well, now yes, but I actually think that there's another explanation to that one. We're going to see the next verse.
Sure.
Jacob, remember what happened to his father to his father Isaac at the late stage of his life?
Yes.
His eyes were dim. He couldn't see very well. The same thing happened to Jacob. It was very likely that they had a
blindness,
macular degeneration.
Yeah.
It's actually a genetic thing.
Yeah, okay.
Actually, I have it.
You have it?
I have the genes for that.
Oh, good thing you're not old enough to be displaying it
no,
yet, right?
definitely not old enough to be displaying it yet. And hopefully, God will protect me.
Is that the thing where your eyes go cloudy?
Yeah, they go cloudy and then you
Yeah.
start kind of seeing. So my family members have that. It is a genetic thing. So when actually my brother did one of these genetic tests, they know they come in a little box.
Yeah.
I don't know, have you ever done one of these? So he done one of these and then it came out and then he told me, hey,
We've got it.
we have it. It basically says, look, just try to protect your eyes, particularly from the sun whenever possible, wearing sunglasses and so on. So because the UV rays help to accelerate that degeneration.
Well,
but anyway.
I mean, if that's the case, then Isaac and Jacob certainly had plenty of opportunity to catch it because there was a lot of sunshine where they lived.
A lot of sun and a lot of reflective surfaces. Because one thing is for you to be opening up your eyes in, let's say, and there's grass near you. Because the grass absorbs, it deflects the light. It's actually healthy for you in many ways.
Being around a lot of green.
Yes, but if you are in like a desertic surface,
dry, brown,
or for example, I think the greatest example is like if you're out and about in the snow, you're not wearing sunglasses,
highly reflective.
Man, this is going to hurt your eyes big time. Very reflective.
Yeah.
So that's that as well. Maybe Jacob was kind of reenacting a little bit the last time that he was a part of a ceremony of passing on blessings.
Wow.
And he's going to ask
what
Joseph.
A flashback.
Joseph, who are these again?
Right. He is no stranger to being fooled.
That's right. He just want to make sure. Just wanted to make sure that nobody's fooling him. So he's asking.
He
he's
knows
doing his
all
due
the tricks
diligence.
in the book because he's done them.
Yes. And which reminds me a little bit of a military maxim.
Yeah.
That I try to live by.
Yeah.
I think it's somewhat biblical. It's
military
biblical.
maxim.
Yeah, which says this. Military wisdom says, look, trust but verify.
Trust but verify.
Trust but verify.
Okay.
Yeah. Because sometimes people say, why are you asking this to me? Don't you trust me? So no, I trust you. Just verifying.
Just checking.
Because
just
everything.
getting all the details.
Exactly.
Yep.
Okay, so that's that here. Let's read verse 10.
Verse 10?
Yeah.
Now the eyes of Israel were dim with age, so that he could not see. Then Joseph brought them near him, and he kissed them and embraced them.
Just like Isaac did with Jacob. Remember that?
Yeah, it's true.
I think the memories are coming.
And he was like, you don't really smell like Esau. You smell like home cooking in your mother's tent. So... Yeah.
So, verse 11.
And Israel said to Joseph, I had not thought to see your face, but in fact, God has also shown me your offspring.
Man, that's beautiful.
I wonder how many years he got to see Joseph if his eyes were going dim at this point, because he was in Egypt for 17 years. I'm wondering also, because Egypt was a very glaring kind of environment.
Yeah.
But a lot of the Egyptians wore kohl, the black eyeliner, which would cut the glare. It was basically like wearing sunglasses without having a lens.
I never really thought about it. Yeah.
So I wonder if Jacob was like, no, I'm not going to put that Egyptian eye paint stuff on.
Dad.
I'm a man. I don't need any makeup on. So, but
men use makeup back in Egypt. It's not...
Yeah, it was not makeup for the sake of cosmetics, but for just the practical eye protection.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. Anyway, maybe he wasn't wearing it. Maybe that's why his eyes got that accelerated macular degeneration. He says, I had not thought to see your face, but in fact, God has also shown me your offspring. So Joseph brought them from beside his knees, and he bowed down with his face to the earth.
Oh, so that's the reference that you mentioned. He took him from his knees?
That's a different part that I was reading about. And Joseph took them both, Ephraim with his right hand toward Israel's left hand, and Manasseh with his left hand toward Israel's right hand, and brought them near him. That's very specific.
Very specific, and there's a reason why.
Yep.
Yeah, we're going to look into that.
Then Israel stretched out his right hand and laid it on Ephraim's head, who was the younger, and his left hand on Manasseh's head, guiding his hands knowingly, for Manasseh was the firstborn. So his left hand is on the firstborn and his right hand is on the youngest.
Yeah, in other words, imagine this.
He crossed his arms.
He crossed his arms.
And reached across.
Making like an X with his arms.
Yeah.
And having his hands on top of each of each head. By the way, this is actually where partly where the idea of laying on of hands on ordination came from.
Okay. From Father blessing?
Yeah, from the Abrahamic sort of a lineage family blessing.
I guess we haven't really seen it prior to that biblically, yeah.
Yeah. Yes, we haven't really. We see this in a few different places. We see the laying on of hands in the heads of lambs and ewes and animals to sacrifice. But we also see them in the patriarchal blessing, putting your hand in someone's head, and then you're promoting a blessing, giving them a charge, and so on. And then that is a doctrine in the New Testament, the laying of hands. Yeah. The same thing where you lay your hands on people and you basically bless them and you charge them with a mission. It comes as if you were...
or also healing of the sick.
Healing of the sick, there is an element of laying of hands as well. Yeah. But there you go. That's where it's coming from here. That's the custom.
Just a little side note, as we were talking about macular degeneration a few minutes ago, when I was in Papua New Guinea, and I've shared this story at the beginning of last year, there was a lot of miraculous healing going on with the evangelistic preaching that I was involved with. And I remember specifically this one lady who came with a few different health issues. She had her eyes clouded over with macular degeneration. I didn't know what it was called. I knew it was some type of blindness. And she was saying, I've got pain in my chest, I've got pain in my arms and things. I was like, okay, cool. I'll also pray for your eyes as well. And I remember specifically seeing after a couple of prayers over a few minutes, her eyes came back to full
full
clearness.
light.
Yeah.
Wow, praise the
and
Lord.
she was
Amazing.
healed of the other things as well.
Wow.
And that was just one of the many stories in that 2-hour period where we were laying hands on like 50 or 60 people and experiencing lots of healings.
Amazing.
So,
It's amazing. It's amazing when you get to see God's miracles like firsthand. Like that.
It was so cool.
Praise the Lord. She would be so happy.
Yeah.
So, well, so if I develop that, I'll definitely ask you to pray for me too. Okay, let's go to the next one. So verse, where are we? Verse 15.
15, was it? Okay. And he blessed Joseph and said, God, before whom my fathers Abraham and Isaac walked, the God who has fed me all my life long to this day, the angel who has redeemed me from all evil, bless the lads, let my name be named upon them, and the name of my fathers Abraham and Isaac, and let them grow into a multitude in the midst of the earth. Now when Joseph saw that his father laid his right hand on the head of Ephraim, it displeased him. So he took hold of his father's hand to remove it from Ephraim's head to Manasseh's head. And Joseph said to his father, Not so, my father, for this one is the firstborn. Put your right hand on his head. But his father refused and said, I know, my son, I know. He also shall become a people, and he also shall be great. But truly his younger brother shall be greater than he, and his descendants shall become a multitude of nations. So he blessed them that day, saying, By you Israel will bless, saying, May God make you as Ephraim and as Manasseh. And thus he set Ephraim before Manasseh.
Okay, let's pause here.
Yeah.
So Jacob is there, he's sitting. And on his right hand, Joseph placed the firstborn. On his left hand, the secondborn. So Manasseh first, Ephraim first. Then Jacob switches his hands. And Joseph says, No, father, sorry, but this is wrong. You cannot bless Ephraim.
He grabbed his hand.
First.
He was trying to move. He was trying to get his hand onto the right head. He was not happy about this.
No, he was not happy. He said, Look,
Dad,
father,
you're doing it wrong.
You're doing it wrong. And then father said, No, I know.
I know what I'm doing.
And this is a big theme in the book of Genesis, with the youngest son being greatest than the oldest son. This is defying the logic. This is defying the culture of the time. Well, look at Jacob himself. He was born second, and yet he got the most important blessing, which was the blessing of Abraham. And now he's doing the same thing. He's repeating. And this is not by merit. This is by grace.
Sure.
And when you look at the story of Jesus, I think that we can start talking about a couple of Jesus's parallels hidden in that story. One of the parallels is that Jesus is also the second Adam. He's also the second big representative. But who is greater, Jesus or Adam? Jesus is greater.
Jesus.
So you can see that in the life of Jesus. You can see that when Jesus chooses us, and so if Jesus chose you, radio friend, and he did chose you for a special mission, it's not because you are more special than anybody else. It's just because of his grace. So whenever God is blessing us, he's blessing us not because of what we've done, not because we are any special, but because of his grace, so that we can go and bless others. So that's a theme in the Bible where nobody can really boast about anything. We cannot even trust our position of birth, which is something that is, almost like automatic in terms of blessings. And God says, look, don't trust in any of these human institutions things. Just trust in my grace. I'm going to be choosing you and blessing you based on my grace, based on my plans for you, based on how I want you to bless others. So you don't need to worry about these things.
When I was called into ministry, God specifically made it clear to me that I should not think that I was stepping into somebody else's place, but to focus on the fact that God had given me grace to do that.
Amazing. This is exactly what it is.
Yeah.
You're listening to the Breakfast Show podcast on Faith FM. Positively different.
Now it is time for our quiz answer and quiz question. Please, producer Tish.
Okay. Recapping the question, it was how many crops of fruit does the tree of life bear? And the answer to that one is 12. It bears 12 crops of fruit, and that can be found in Revelation 22.
Isn't it 1, 2?
Yeah,
isn't
12 different kinds of fruits.
And one for each month.
You're right.
Each for each month. So I have a question here, a genuine question.
Yeah.
Which I think I'm only going to find out in heaven. But are these fruits going to be repeated? So every year we are going to see the same fruits repeated again? Or, which I kind of inclined to think, every month when we come together to partake of the fruit of the tree of life, it's going to be a surprise fruit. It's like a fruit of the month. And then Jesus is just creating, try this one, try this one.
For all of eternity future. Like, how many different fruits do you expect him to make?
Infinite.
Infinite amounts of fruits.
I mean, do you think this is too difficult for God?
No, of course not.
Aha, gotcha.
But I wonder if, because we won't need the sun to give us light, and we won't be using celestial bodies to track the process of time. I wonder if the 12 same different fruits each month, like each January there's a pear, each February there's an apple, whatever, like that. That's the way we track time. I don't know.
Look, I don't know. I think we can create a device, an app to track the time if you want me, but I'm more excited with the prospect
you want to try
different fruits. I want to try different flavors, but here's the deal.
I don't think the Bible supports that, but okay.
I don't think this supports it either, but this is the thing. This is my theory, okay? It's Skafy's theory here. Put your
This is not necessarily the Bible, guys.
No, it is Skafy's theory. It's my theory here. Once we go there, because I had a friend that had like a tree with 3 different kinds of fruits.
Yeah, grafted.
Like different kinds grafted on them. And you can do that with fruits of the same
Were
family.
they all like stone fruits or something?
No, in this case, it was different kinds of apples.
Oh, okay.
She had green apples and red apples and pink lady apples.
On
the same tree.
That's so cool.
So I think he had like 5 or 6 different ones.
That's a smart way to cut down on the space. Space saving, different types of
different
fruit.
flavors and so on. So that opened my mind for that possibility. So imagine this. We go to the tree of life once a month to gather, to worship God, to share all the gratitudes we have seen, all of our experiences in the universe, catch up with all of our friends, everybody in this one big space, amazing. And then we eat these amazing fruits, the new creation. And maybe sometimes Jesus can do a throwback and, from some crowd favorites. But this is my thing. After you eat the fruit, what is inside of the fruit?
Seeds.
Yes. And then you get the seeds, you plant the seeds. Then, so for each fruit of the month, you can just get the seeds and just plant it.
So
on
you
your
reckon
backyard.
once a month you go to the holy city to get your new piece of fruit, and then you collect the seeds, and you're just like building an epic garden over time.
Oh yeah,
That's
exactly right.
okay.
This is exactly what I think. This is my theory here. I'm getting. Maybe it's not going to be anything of that.
That's a cool idea.
Isn't that a cool idea?
I'm sure God can incorporate that if that wasn't already the plan.
Okay.
Alrighty, let's get back into our second quiz question.
Yes. Tish, do you have another cute quiz for us?
I do. And it goes like this.
Oh, yeah.
Why did Felix leave Paul in prison? There's some interesting ones today. Why did Felix leave Paul in prison? If you're struggling to find what that might be, have a look in Acts 24. Let's have one answer here, which is...
Ooh.
I I think
Lindsay seems very sure about her, but
let's see what else
Letitia...
we have. Oh, that is certainly correct.
Okay.
I'm not sure about the wording. It probably is correct.
It is correct.
If
I was
you-
listening through Acts just the other day.
Let me see your
Well, then
answer.
let's say we have 2 correct answers in the
Oh,
studio.
really?
Yeah, it
Never
literally
really
says
noticed
that.
about it. Okay,
Wow.
all right. We're definitely going to look
Okay.
into that one. It's
2
very
correct
interesting.
answers here.
Yeah.
If you think you know as well, please let us know on 0491 064 669. Why did Felix leave Paul in prison?
Okay.
Alrighty.
Thank you very much, Tish, for that one. So 0491 064 669 is the number to text. And now we're going to continue in our conversation here. We're talking about Jesus. Where can we find Jesus? Where can we find the gospel in that story? And we found grace already. We found that Manasseh, well, even though he was the firstborn, his father, blessed his other brother first, Ephraim, and he gave a bigger blessing. And so this is grace. And Joseph's answer was kind of very interesting because he was upset with this. Dad, this is wrong. And in the same way, when you look at, for example, Jesus, he did something with the church. He also uplifted the Gentiles over the Jews because the Gentiles had faith and the Jews did not have faith. And he made the Gentiles a bigger nation than the Jews because the Christian movement today is bigger than the Jewish movement today, even though both have been historically people of God. And what was the reaction of the Pharisees when, for example, Jesus was adopting as heir, so to speak, the Gentiles, the prostitutes, the publicans, the tax collectors, and so on. Well, the Jews were actually very annoyed by this.
Yeah, they were offended.
They were offended. This is why Jesus told the story of the prodigal son. And Joseph has like a very similar reaction to the prodigal son's brother. And it's like, hey, no, you don't do this. Like, it has to be according to our human tradition here. And Jacob says, no, son, look, I know exactly what I'm doing. And the third thing that I wanted to share about Jesus here is, you know how Jacob, in the beginning, when Joseph brought the 2 sons, Jacob asked, who are they? Mm-hmm. Because he was blind.
Yes.
And then Joseph said what? Oh, these are my 2 sons. Mm-hmm. This is in a microcosm what happens between us, God, and Jesus.
Okay.
It's kind of like God the Father wanting to bless us, and he's kind of blind, and he's, of course, not actually blind. But you know how they say, like, justice is blind, these kinds of things? Love is blind. In that sense, he says, like, who are these? And Jesus says, these are my children whom I bought with my blood. And then say, okay, so I trust in you. So basically, we are blessed by the Father thanks to Jesus.
Yeah.
So the Father's not looking at you, Lindsay, or at me, Skafy, and saying, oh, this is Lindsay. She has her own merits. Let me bless her based on her own merits. God blesses us based on our affiliation to Jesus, on the merits of Jesus. If you are self-righteous, this is bad news. Because it's saying that your righteousness doesn't count anything at all in the Father's eyes. However, if you're a sinner like me, it's great news because it says that we are treated not as we deserve to be treated, but we are treated way better because what we are treated, the reward that we get from God the Father is based on what Jesus conquered for me instead, for us.
Yeah.
So that's a little gospel application as well. When God looks at you, he's actually looking, he's hearing, who is this? I cannot see, who's this? He's not seeing at our flaws. And Jesus comes and says, he's my beloved child in whom I am well pleased. And God says, okay, so here's the blessing for them. Isn't that amazing to be able to, when you are blessed because you're friends with someone?
Yeah.
Has that happened to you?
I think, let me think for a second. Can I see a actual example of being blessed through a friendship?
I'll give an example from me if you want while you're thinking.
Think. Yeah.
On my last holidays, I went to the United States to visit some of my family.
Yeah.
And my sister-in-law's family, the family of not my sister-in-law, but of her husband, they had a very, very wealthy friend, super wealthy, hundreds of millions and so on. And they wanted to bless my sister-in-law and her husband because they couldn't come to their wedding party.
Oh.
because their daughter was getting engaged on that same day.
Oh, okay.
So they decided that they want to throw in like a private party for her just so they could commemorate and celebrate that.
So nice.
And we went to their house, which was like the most stunning house, probably one of the most stunning houses I have seen in my life.
Sure.
And not only that, but they cooked themselves this incredible banquet.
Wow.
To celebrate, with canapes and everything, like plant-based stuff. And
yum.
it was really amazing. They had like non-alcoholic wines for us to try and all these kinds of things. Look, everything of the toppest notch of quality you can possibly imagine.
Bring me next time.
I know. Look, and I was there for no merit of my own. I was just there because I was family,
Yeah.
I was just there because I happened to be there when it was family time and they blessed me. So I was so grateful that I was being so blessed just because. And look, and in my case, it was even less than my wife's because my wife was actually sisters with her sister.
Yeah.
Well, I am the brother-in-law of the sister-in-law, kind of, extended family, really. Yeah. But I was being blessed for their sake.
Yeah.
So this is what happens to Jesus. God is giving us an even greater blessing. He's giving us eternal life, access to the palaces of heaven, the big mansions in heaven, and all these things because we're friends with Jesus.
Yeah. No, I don't think anyone can top that story. We'll leave it there. That's a good one.
Isn't that a good example?
Yeah. Right. No, so good.
So a little gospel story here hidden in the book of Genesis in that blessing.
Awesome.
Let's keep going, my friend, because we have a lot of ground to cover.
We got not much time. Okay, where were we? We're at the end of the blessing.
Yes, we're in the end of the blessing. So verse 20 now.
Verse 20. So he blessed them that day, saying, by you Israel will bless, saying, may God make you as Ephraim and as Manasseh. And thus he set Ephraim before Manasseh. Then Israel said to Joseph, behold, I am dying, but God will be with you and bring you back to the land of your fathers. Moreover, I have given to you one portion above your brothers, which I took from the hand of the Amorite with my sword and my bow. I didn't know Jacob had a sword and a bow and that he was, engaged in battle.
No, he was not engaged in battle. Like he says here, I give you one portion more than your brothers.
Which I took from the hand of the Amorite, which is Canaan.
I took of the hand of the Amorite with my sword and my bow. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I have to actually look into that one. I wonder what that refers to. Yeah.
Because we don't really see any stories of him engaging in battle. He's not like the macho kind of guy who really did that.
Oh, okay. Look, it says here. I'm getting here from my one of my favorite Bible commentaries here. It says, look, the word translated as portion is Shechem, which is the same name as of the city of Shechem, in whose neighborhood Jacob had bought a piece of land. Remember when we were talking about Jacob buying land?
He didn't use sword and bow personally, but his sons probably did, involving
he bought the piece of land where he pitched his tent from the hands of the sons of Hamor and Shechem's father for 100 pieces of money. So that's when Jacob brought, and whose population 2 of Jacob's sons had massacred.
And you know what? Shechem is in the tribal area of West Manasseh.
Okay, there you go.
I'm having a look on the map in the back of my Bible, and it's smack middle of Manasseh.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So he's giving Shechem, which was received through violence as well as through money.
Yes.
To one of these boys that he's just blessed.
Yeah.
And that's fascinating.
So there you go. Oh, so this is so interesting because let's backtrack this. There's a play of words here first.
Okay.
Where Jacob is saying, hey, I'm going to give you Shechem as a Shechem.
Remind me, what does Shechem mean?
Shechem both means the name of the city that he bought for 100 pieces of silver.
Yeah.
But it also means a portion.
Okay. A portion.
Like a portion of the inheritance.
Okay.
So I'm giving you one Shechem more than your brothers, which I took from the hand of the Amorites. Now, he did not take from the hand of the Amorites. He bought them. However,
his sons
slaughtered 2 people groups there.
Committed genocide.
And I think that Jacob is kind of saying here, look, he's taking responsibility for what the sons done and said, a portion that I have bought with money, a portion that we have conquered by this crazy massacre that my sons did. So I think he's kind of taking that responsibility himself.
Yeah. And that's so fascinating that it ends up being with Manasseh, because they're not dividing up the land at this point. It's not for like another 400 or 500 years almost until they divide up the land. It's like 430 years from this point-ish that they divide up the land. And I think it was kind of divided up by lots during the time of Joshua. Is that correct?
Yes, it was divided by lots, yes.
So it was kind of at random, but still Shechem ends up being given to one of these two boys, like his descendants. That's just fascinating.
Yeah. And it says here, I'm looking here at the commentary, there's another interesting reference here about the sword and the bow.
Yeah.
Where, because we don't have any references, as you mentioned, of any warfare done by Jacob.
Just genocide.
What they're saying here is that this property of Jacob had been taken away from him by the Amorites after he left the Shechem region. So he bought the land.
And then when Amorites, he moved to Egypt,
yes,
they took it back.
So this is what it says here. Although the terror of God prevented them from attacking Jacob, I'm talking about the Amorites. So this is in Genesis chapter 35, verses 4 to 5. And then says, although the terror of God prevented them from attacking Jacob and avenging the massacre of the Shechemites, they seem to have taken Jacob's estate, so that the patriarch was forced at some later time to reconquer his property by force of arms. This explanation seems to be more reasonable than that of some commentators who wish to see in Jacob's utterance a prophecy referring to the future conquest of Palestine in the times of Joshua. So some people say, look, this is prophetic. Jacob is basically using a past tense to talk about something that the Israelites are going to do when they're reconquering back the land of the Amorites back to the Israelites. But what this commentary is saying is that another option would be that during this time that we don't know much about, while Joseph was in Egypt, that his land in Shechem was taken away by the Amorites, and Jacob fought to get it back.
I lean more towards the prophetic
ones?
Because he says, moreover, I have given you one portion. They're still all in Egypt, and they are in Egypt for another 400 odd years. Okay? Mm-hmm. So he hasn't given any land. There is no actual transaction of land being given to anyone in the family at this point. I think it is prophetic utterance of the conquest that happens later.
I think it could be. It could even be both, to be honest.
Yeah.
It could be even both. Maybe. So there you go. Yeah, it's something, a little mystery there in the Bible that we don't quite know the answer to.
That's a fascinating little verse that we stumbled across
Fascinating little verse.
You're listening to the Breakfast Show podcast on Faith FM. Positively different.
I'm going to ask Producer Tish to help us with the quiz answer now.
The answer to that one, to the question, why did Felix leave Paul in prison, was actually to please the Jews, is what's written here. And that could be found in Acts 24:27.
Okay.
And also in hopes that he would receive a bribe.
So where is that? Where is the hopes for the bribe?
It's there as well. Here, let's have a look.
Yeah.
Acts 24. Yeah. Let's go there.
While I look for it, I was just going to say my answer was he didn't want to offend the Jews, so which is the other side.
To please
the Jews.
Yes.
In the meantime, I actually want to make an offer here. If you are really enjoying these Bible studies on Genesis, if you're learning new things, if you're seeing Jesus in a way that you haven't seen before, have you noticed how many times Jesus is kind of almost like hidden here in the Old Testament stories? If you'd like to get more of that, I have an incredible resource for you, and it is the book Patriarchs and Prophets. It's a book that goes through all of the Old Testament stories, particularly from the book of Genesis, and it helps by explaining the context. It explains how it connects with Jesus. It gives you practical spiritual applications. Is a fantastic book for you to read. Option A, before you go to bed. It produces some sweet, beautiful thoughts before you go to sleep. I think it's a great thing. Number 2, before you start your day in the morning, because it gives you that little, how can I say that, inspiration. That's the word I was after. Inspiration for the day. So if you would like to get that book, or you can also download the MP3 version of it, so you can listen to it on your phone, on your car, whatever you are. I can give that resource for you for absolutely free. So if you text me here to 0491 064669 with the code word #beginnings, we will send that resource straight to you. Now, Lindsay, did you find the bribe passage that you were looking?
Of course I did. So it is in Acts 24, and we'll start in about verse 25. So now, as he reasoned about righteousness, self-control, and the judgment to come, Felix was afraid and answered, "Go away for now. When I have a convenient time, I'll call for you." Meanwhile, he also hoped that money would be given him by Paul, that he might release him. Therefore, he sent for him more often and conversed with him. But after 2 years, Porcius Festus succeeded Felix, and Felix, wanting to do the Jews a favor, left Paul behind. So there is very much an element of waiting for a bribe.
Yeah, okay. I'm wondering if it's a bribe or if it's what do you call when you are taken to the prison, but you can like a bail? I wonder if they had bail practices at this time.
No, he was wanting a bribe because they were Roman officials, and that was their whole livelihood. It was just living off bribes and getting extra.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
So, two correct answers.
There you go.
Yeah, thanks for that, Lindsay, and thanks for that, producer Tish. What do we have coming up today? Actually, we were going to be listening to a song by Sandra Enterman called Ready for the Storm. We're going to have some news. And after the news, we're going to be talking about why 1 in every 7 Christian universities in the United States are having links to Planned Parenthood and abortion. We're also going to have an interview today with Mark James from Creation Ministries. He's going to be giving us some really amazing insights on how the DNA works.
Thanks for being a part of the Faith FM family. Join our community on Facebook or get in touch at 1-800-FAITH-FM.